Welcome to Rare Coins Numix, where everyday change might just be worth a small fortune. What if I told you that one of the smallest coins in your pocket, a simple dime, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars today? That's right. We're starting today's lineup with a coin that has surprised collectors for years, the 1985 Roosevelt Dime. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary coin. You've likely used dozens just like it to pay for a coffee, parking meter, or even tossed it in a tip jar without a second thought. But hidden among the millions of dimes minted that year, there's one version that has gained remarkable attention for its rarity, quality, and value. And it's from the Denver Mint. To understand why this 1985 Roosevelt Dime is so special, it helps to go back to its origin. The Roosevelt Dime has been in production since 1946, replacing the Mercury Dime, and it was introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt following his death in 1945. His image was chosen not just because he was a sitting president at the time of his passing, but also because of his role in founding the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio. By 1985, the design had become very familiar. The obverse features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait, with the words, "Liberty," to the left, "In God We Trust," below his chin, and the date, in this case, 1985, to the lower right. On this particular coin, you'll also notice a small D mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. On the reverse, the torch, olive branch, and oak branch remain symbolic, representing liberty, peace, and strength. It's a clean and compact design that balances artistry and symbolism in a space just under 18 millimeters in diameter. Though it's small, the Roosevelt Dime carries a big presence in U.S. coinage history. In 1985, the Denver Mint produced well over 500 million of these dimes. That's right, more than $500 million. So what could possibly make one of them worth $70,000? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. While most of these coins went into everyday circulation, picking up wear, scratches, and dulling over time, a handful managed to avoid all of that. Some were never used, kept in rolls or sets, or stored in conditions that preserved their original mint state. A rare few 1985 dimes have been found in nearly perfect condition, known as mint state 68 or higher. Achieving such a grade is extremely rare, especially for modern circulation coins. It means the coin has no visible marks or signs of wear even under magnification. The luster remains untouched, and the strike is sharp and well-defined, but it's not just the condition. Some 1985 dimes also exhibit subtle minting anomalies, very slight die misalignments or planchet issues, that make them even more interesting to collectors. These are not major errors, but they add uniqueness and character to what would otherwise be a standard coin. Combined with exceptional preservation, these factors push their value dramatically higher. Let's also talk about timing. The demand for high-grade modern coins has grown substantially over the past decade. Collectors who once focused only on silver and pre-1965 coins have started paying attention to newer dates, especially ones with extremely low populations in high grades. The 1985 Roosevelt Dime falls right into this category. While it's not old in the traditional sense, its top condition examples are much harder to find than many people realize. Most dimes from that year are only worth face value, even if they're in decent shape. But when a coin is submitted to a grading service like PCGS or NGC and comes back with a high grade, let's say MS68 or MS68+, its market value can skyrocket. That's exactly what's happened with this dime. In recent years, there have been verified private sales and auction listings where 1985 Roosevelt dimes in top grades reached staggering figures. And today, an exceptional example of this coin, graded at the highest levels with impeccable surface quality and strike detail, has been valued at an incredible $70,000. That's right, $70,000 for a single dime that, on the surface, looks like any other from your loose change. This value reflects not just rarity, but the growing awareness of how even modern coins can be rare and valuable if preserved with care and recognized at the right time. This coin teaches us that it's not always about age. Sometimes, it's about being in the right place at the right time with the right set of conditions. A coin minted just a few decades ago, one that many people still overlook, can become a life-changing find. So what should you do? Keep an eye on your pocket change. If you happen to come across a 1985 Roosevelt dime with a D mint mark, take a closer look. If it appears unusually clean, sharp, and lustrous, consider having it evaluated. It might just be one of the rare high-grade survivors collectors are eager to own. This was the first coin in today's lineup, and it sets the tone for what's to come. We're just getting started, and we still have more rare and valuable coins to uncover in this video. So don't go anywhere, you might just spot a coin you've seen before, but never realized was worth more than its weight in silver or gold. Let's move on to another coin that has surprised many collectors over the years, the 1999 Roosevelt D dime. At first glance, it might look like just another piece of spare change. Small, light, and often overlooked, this dime has quietly traveled through wallets, jars, and coin rolls across the country. But tucked among the millions minted in 1999 is a version of this coin that has gained serious attention in the collecting world. It's not because it's made of silver, or because of an obvious error. It's because of how rare a high-grade version of this coin really is, and how valuable that has made it. The Roosevelt dime, first issued in 1946, has remained consistent in design for decades. By the time we reached 1999, it had already seen more than 50 years of production. The obverse features the familiar portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, facing left, with the inscriptions, Liberty and, In God We Trust, alongside the date. In this case, just to the right of the date, there's a small D mint mark, showing that this coin was produced at the Denver Mint. The reverse is just as iconic. A torch stands in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. Around the edges, you'll find the inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and One Dime. The entire design fits neatly into a 17.9 mm diameter coin, weighing just over 2 grams, but don't let its size fool you. This small coin can carry significant value under the right circumstances. In 1999, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes. These were mass-produced for everyday transactions. Most were handled, used, and worn down over time. So naturally, the overwhelming majority of them show signs of circulation, from light scratches and dings to dulled surfaces and worn details. But in rare cases, a few dimes escaped all that. Some were stored in mint rolls, collector sets, or tucked away and forgotten. A very small number of these coins remained in nearly perfect condition, untouched and uncirculated. These are the coins that matter most to collectors, and in the case of the 1999 D dime, these perfect or near-perfect examples are extremely hard to come by. What makes this coin particularly special is how difficult it is to find in top grades. While millions were made, only a tiny fraction have been certified at the highest levels by professional grading services. A coin graded mint state 68 or above is considered exceptionally rare for this year and mint. That grade represents nearly flawless preservation, strong strike, sharp detail, clean fields, and full original mint luster. It means the coin has avoided almost all the marks and blemishes that come from handling or poor storage. This level of preservation is uncommon for modern circulating dimes, especially from a high-output year like 1999. Because of this, high-grade examples are not just rare, they're valuable. Collectors searching for registry-quality coins to complete their sets are always on the lookout for coins like this, and they're often willing to pay a premium for them. Even minor differences, like strike sharpness, luster, or subtle die details, can push a coin to the top of the grading scale. For competitive collectors, those details matter a lot. And when a coin becomes one of the few known to exist in a top grade, it naturally becomes a target for serious offers. That demand keeps pushing values higher. In the case of the 1999 Roosevelt D dime, that premium is quite impressive. While your average circulated example is still worth just face value, one coin in a top-grade condition can be valued at around $48,000 today. That's right, $48,000 for a dime that most people would never think twice about. This kind of value shows us that condition is everything in the world of numismatics. It's not always about age, and it's not always about silver content or dramatic mint errors. Sometimes, a coin becomes valuable simply because it survived better than all the others. That's the story of this dime, a modern coin from a modern year, but preserved so perfectly that it became a standout in a sea of ordinary change. This also shows how coin collecting has evolved. While older, classic coins still draw major interest, more collectors today are focusing on modern issues in exceptional condition. Registry sets, collections of top-grade coins submitted to grading services, have become more competitive, and coins like the 1999 Roosevelt Dime are central to that race. If you're a collector, or even just someone curious about the coins you come across every day, this dime is a reminder to pay attention. It's not just about what's old or shiny, it's about what's rare, what's perfect, and what survived when it wasn't expected to. You could have something valuable sitting in a drawer or jar, just waiting to be discovered. So far, we've looked at two coins that seemed ordinary on the surface but turned out to be extraordinary under close inspection. The 1999 Roosevelt Dime is another example of how modern coins can hold serious value, not because of an obvious difference, but because of the fine line between common and collectible. We're just getting started, and there are still more fascinating coins ahead in today's video. Stick around as we explore more valuable finds that could be hiding in plain sight. Now let's take a closer look at another dime that has surprised the collecting world, the 2000 Roosevelt P dime. While the year 2000 marked the beginning of a new millennium, for most people, the coins minted that year seemed pretty routine. Quarters were getting more attention because of the new state series, but dimes continued quietly in circulation, largely unnoticed. Yet even among the billions of coins produced that year, one small Roosevelt dime from the Philadelphia Mint stands out, not for being flashy, but for being one of the few modern coins in outstanding condition that's worth far more than its face value. The Roosevelt dime has maintained a consistent design since it first entered circulation in 1946. It was introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt shortly after his death, and it replaced the Mercury dime. On the obverse of the 2000 version, we still see Roosevelt's familiar left-facing portrait. The inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 2000, are positioned around the design, with the small P mint mark just to the right of the base of Roosevelt's neck, showing it was struck in Philadelphia. The reverse remains unchanged, featuring a torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right, representing liberty, peace, and strength. Surrounding those are the inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and the denomination, 1 dime. The entire design fits into a coin that's just 17.9 mm in diameter, composed of copper and nickel, and meant for daily circulation. In the year 2000, the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes. These coins were mass-produced for daily use, and the vast majority of them served that exact purpose. They were tossed into pockets, spent at stores, and handled for years. And like most modern coins, the vast majority developed signs of use, from light scratches and rim dings to dulled luster and worn detail, but once in a while, a few coins escape circulation entirely. These dimes are preserved, either by collectors or by chance, in nearly perfect condition. Some come from original mint rolls or uncirculated sets. A few remain untouched for decades, stored in conditions that prevent damage. And in very rare cases, one of these coins gets submitted to a professional grading service and earns an exceptionally high grade, a grade that sets it apart from millions of others. The 2000 Roosevelt P dime is a coin that, on the surface, doesn't look much different from any other modern dime. But in mint state 68 or higher, it becomes an entirely different story. That level of preservation means the coin is virtually flawless under magnification, showing a strong strike, bright luster, clean fields, and no noticeable blemishes. These are the coins collectors are competing for, especially those assembling top-tier registry sets. High-grade modern coins are much harder to find than most people realize. Even with modern minting technology, it's rare for a coin to come off the press, survive shipping, handling, and storage, and remain in perfect condition. That's why coins like the 2000 Roosevelt P dime in MS 68 or higher are so special. Out of the massive number produced, only a few dozen might earn such a high grade, and that kind of rarity translates directly into collector value. Over the years, demand for top-condition modern coins has continued to grow. Collectors now understand that it's not just old coins that matter, it's condition and scarcity that truly drive value. And coins like this dime, which few people paid attention to when they were first issued, are now in the spotlight. While most 2000 Roosevelt dimes are still worth only 10 cents, a select few have been certified in superb condition and command high prices in the collector market. These dimes are not part of a silver series, they're not errors, and they're not from a limited mintage, but they have something even harder to find: near perfect preservation. And for some collectors, that makes all the difference. One such coin, preserved in outstanding condition and certified by a top grading service, has been valued at around $45,000. That's right, $45,000 for a dime minted in the year 2000. It's a price tag that surprises many people, especially those who never imagined a coin from just a couple of decades ago could be worth that much. But in the world of coin collecting, rarity in condition is often just as important as rarity in production numbers. This dime teaches us an important lesson. Sometimes, value hides in the ordinary. A coin that looks just like the rest can quietly become a top-tier collectible if it survives the years without flaws. And for those who take the time to look closely, or who happen to come across one by chance, it could mean turning a common coin into a rare find. It's a reminder that not all treasures are old or obvious. Some are modern, subtle, and waiting to be noticed. The 2000 Roosevelt P dime is exactly that kind of treasure. Not flashy, not well known, but quietly holding its place among the most desirable modern dimes ever graded. So before you spend that next dime without thinking, take a second look. Check the date. Look at the mint mark. Examine the condition. Because you never know, you just might be holding one of the rare few worth much more than 10 cents. That's our third coin in today's video, and the value of this one, at $45,000, certainly adds a lot to a tiny piece of change. And we still have more rare and valuable coins to uncover. Stay with us as we continue exploring surprising coins that could be sitting unnoticed in your pocket or change jar right now. And now, let's take a closer look at the final coin in today's lineup, the 2010 Roosevelt D dime. At first glance, it looks like any other modern dime. Small, simple, and widely circulated, it's the kind of coin most people wouldn't even notice. It gets tossed into jars, slipped into vending machines, or spent without a second thought. But hidden within the millions struck at the Denver Mint that year, there are a select few that have become highly desirable in the world of coin collecting. The Roosevelt dime has remained a steady part of U.S. currency since its debut in 1946. It was introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt and has maintained the same basic design ever since. The obverse side features his portrait facing left, with inscriptions including "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the year, in this case, 2010. Just above the date, there's a small D mint mark, indicating the coin was minted in Denver. On the reverse, the design is also familiar, a torch in the center representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. United States of America, e pluribus unum, and "one dime" surround the image. It's a compact design packed with symbolism, and while it's been seen on billions of coins, the quality of individual strikes can vary widely, and that's where rarity comes into play. In 2010, the Denver Mint produced well over 1 billion Roosevelt dimes. Most of them went straight into circulation. As with any coin that gets used daily, these dimes quickly picked up signs of wear, contact marks, light scratches, worn details, and lost luster. That's completely normal for a coin used in everyday transactions. So, what makes a 2010 D dime so special? Every now and then, a coin escapes all that wear and tear. It might come from a sealed mint roll, a collector set, or simply be put aside before it ever entered circulation. A very small number of these coins stay in pristine condition, untouched, clean, and still showing their full mint brilliance. And when one of those coins is submitted to a grading service and earns a mint state 68 or higher rating, it immediately stands out. That level of preservation is incredibly rare for a coin from a high mintage year like 2010. Getting a grade of MS68 or MS69 means the coin has full original luster, a sharp strike, and barely any visible imperfections, even under magnification. It's a mark of quality that only a few coins ever achieve, even with today's advanced minting technology. And when collectors realize how few examples meet this standard, the competition begins. Collectors who build registry sets are especially eager to find coins in the highest grades. These sets are ranked based on the quality of each coin, so having a top-graded 2010D dime could elevate an entire collection. For those aiming to complete a top-tier Roosevelt dime set, this coin becomes not just desirable, it becomes essential. One of the reasons these coins are so valuable is because people often assume modern coins can't be worth much. But what we've seen, and what this coin proves, is that condition can completely change that. In fact, it's the scarcity of near-perfect examples that gives coins like this their value, not necessarily their age or design. The 2010D dime also reflects a broader trend in numismatics. While many collectors still chase classic silver coins and old rarities, a growing number are turning their attention to modern issues in exceptional condition. These coins represent a new frontier, pieces that are technically common but incredibly difficult to find in pristine state. And that brings us to the question collectors always ask: what's it worth? A standard 2010D Roosevelt dime is worth 10 cents in circulated condition. But one rare, high-grade example certified by a top-tier grading company has been valued at an incredible $43,000. That's not due to an error or metal content, just flawless preservation. It shows how a coin that looks ordinary can become truly exceptional under the right circumstances. It also reminds us why collecting can be so exciting. Value doesn't always come from what's obvious. Sometimes, it comes from noticing what others overlook: the tiny details, the shine of the surface, the sharpness of the design. And with modern coins, those details make all the difference. In a world where billions of coins are made each year, the few that survive in gem condition are like finding needles in a haystack. So, before you spend that next dime, take a second to look closely. It might be just another coin, or it might be one of the rare few that slipped through untouched. A small coin with a big story, and potentially, a big reward. That wraps up our fifth and final coin for today's video. From decades-old quarters to recent Roosevelt dimes, we've seen how everyday coins can carry extraordinary value. If you've been enjoying these discoveries, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. There's a lot more to explore, and who knows, the next valuable coin might be sitting in your own pocket change. Thanks for watching Rare Coins Numix. We'll see you in the next video.